Hi, my name's Pete from dancemusisamples.com, and today I'm going to walk you through a little Logic project I made last night using Mechanimal's new sample pack, Psytrance Samples Volume 5. If you haven't heard of Mechanimal, he is an absolutely kick-ass Psytrance artist. He's played at festivals and events all around the world. He does a fantastic live show, so if you haven't heard his music, head on down to SoundCloud and look up Mechanimal. You can also find lots of samples, MIDI files and sound sets for Access Virus and NI Massive on dancemusisamples.com too. So if you're looking for some really good new Psy sounds, I'd definitely head on down to his section on our site too. So let's take a look at what I put together last night. This is just a basic Psy groove using samples from the pack, and I also wrote a little riff using Logic's ES2 Synth 2. So let's take a listen. There we have the groove that I put together last night, and now what we're going to do is just take a look through the sounds I've used, the samples, how I've put it together, and just basically how this whole little groove works. So first off, we've got a kick drum which I chose from the sample pack. We'll solo it and take a listen here. You'll see that I have just some very basic EQ on here, a little boosted around 100 Hertz. And also a Logic compressor with some attack on it, just the basic circuit type, just to emphasize a little bit of punch. Next up, we've just got a clap sample from the pack. And finishing the very basic percussion off, we've just got an open hi-hat too. So next up we've got the bass line. Now this sample pack comes with two multi-sampled basses, which are really easy to load up in Logic. So what I've done is I've added those to an EXS24 sampler instrument. You'll see here that I've got a multi-sample loaded, so we have 3 samples. And you'll also see that I've side-chained the compressor here to get a real pumping effect. And if you don't know about side chaining, it's something you should really look up, because it really will help your kick and bass work together whatever style of electronic music you make. So let's just solo the kick and the bass together and you'll get an idea of this kind of pumping effect. Now let's drop in the gate trigger. And if you take a look at the compressor, you'll see that it's pumping the bass in and out as the kick hits, and that's really going to emphasize your bass line and help it cut through. Next up, we've got some Synth Stabs, which I've chosen from the pack. Let's solo those 3 sounds together. Now I've processed each of these sounds separately. They're all just in the EXS24. I've added a little bit of distortion, a bit of EQ. For sounds like this, I usually knock off at around 200 Hertz, just so you're not interfering with your bass line. I've added a bit crusher onto all of them too, just to mangle it up. The second stab sound, I've got a filter going on the LFO, so that gives it a little bit of a wiggle on the high pass filter, just to give you a sort of psychedelic effect. And add that all together. And we have our basic Psy groove. Now, what I've also done is I've written a little breakbeat section here, which you heard earlier, and also I wrote a little synth riff using Logic's ES2, which you can see here. This is just a sound I've made using one of the basic presets. I've just adapted that from the factory settings. Let's just take a listen to that on its own. Now, there's two layers here. And I'll add in the second layer. We'll take a look at the pattern there, you can see it. You'll also see that both of these layers I'm processing together using a bus. You'll see that the output to both of these ES2 synths goes to bus 10. And on bus 10 I've got some channel strip settings which I use quite a bit. I use a little overdrive which just very, very gently will bring out the sound, give it a bit of colour. I've got an auto filter which is going to give us that twisty high pass psychedelic effect. And you can also see that I'm using the direct mix plugin to help give a bit of stereo width on that sound, just so our kick and bass are in the centre of the mix and the synths really should be pushed towards the outside. You'll also see that I have a Synth Bus Automation channel here, and this is controlling the auto filter on the bus which both of those ES2 synths are sitting on. So if I click to view the filter automation, you can see that I have the cutoff automated, and that's going to give us that sort of twisty high pass psychedelic effect. So you'll see as it comes down and up, and you'll hear the effect. So there we go, that's our basic groove. Let's get rid of the automation for a second so we can see a bit better. So there we have our start of a basic Psytrance groove made using Mechanimal Psytrance Samples Volume 5. If you like the sound of this project, you can download the project for free from our website at dancemidsamples.com. And if you like the sounds, go grab the sample pack or any other of Mechanimal's packs. They are absolutely fantastic Psytrance samples and sound sets, and of course MIDI files for any producer. So if you're looking for new sounds or you want some tips on synth programming, want to know how sounds are made, then head on down to dancemidsamples.com.